In the weekly outlook, so today is Sunday, the 10th of April. So let's just jump straight in. So a lot of good trades last week that ended up playing out. So going into last week, I did favor more of a pullback on JPY pairs, which obviously didn't happen. But as I always say, there's two ways, two outcomes to every setup. I always give two different directions, and all we have to do is just wait for one of those to present itself. So I always trade without a bias. I'm always open to a change in the market. I just trade what I see, not what I think. So I'm never ever married to a bias. So like last week, for example, I was favoring a move lower on CAD JPY here. It just never gave the price action for it. Like this was market open down here. It literally came up and there's just no price action here to really want to sell it. It just kind of blew through structure. So what ended up happening is it pushed up, came back down and gave a really clean buy last week off of this 98 sort of 200 level. Like go down to like the 15 minute, for example, super clean buy, like right there. Again, 15 to 20 pip stop loss would be ideal. And right now you'd be floating up around nearly 3% profit, with the next target being around this 92-200 level, which is easy 1 to 4.5. Assuming it doesn't break higher, easy 1 to 4.5. Plus it could easily break up to 100, which would turn into a 1 to 8. So I know quite a few of you guys end up catching that, which is really, really good. Great job there, guys. So what I'm looking for this week is, as I said, I would just, as it's floating between structure, just wait for price to push up into here. It could always tap into 99-200, respect this level, and then fall. Okay, that is a possibility. Right now, looking at this plus a few correlated pairs, I kind of do favor this to break up and hit 100. And then from there, we can kind of figure out if it's going to maybe come back down or retest 99.2 and then move higher, or if this will be a fake out and then retest 99.2 and then move lower. So right now, because it's, it's Sunday, wait for price to push up into here, and then from there, what I'd be looking for is drop down like the lower time frames, like the 1 hour or the 30 minute. If you can get some price action similar to this on like the 30 minute or the 1 hour, you could look for a really nice sell into this 98 sort of 200 level. And then, because really what could happen, right, is this could easily just begin to range. So you see what happens here once price moves up, and then I can update in the midweek review to what we're looking at based on the current price action then. One thing I want to look at is the dollar. So the dollar, very, very bullish, okay? We know it was ranging. It ended up just blasting through the range after respecting the bottom of this range. Really obvious price action, which really gave a lot of clean dollar buys on dollar pairs or dollar sells, depending on like Euro USD, for example. So what had happened is it's now testing that 100 level. So what I'm looking for is I expect to see this kind of test 100, maybe even break above 100 into this 100, 200 area. And then we might see it come back down and test this 99 sort of 400, 500 region. And then from there, I just expect this to continue. Now, as always, there's two sort of scenarios, right? Let's say that price does come back down and retest here and ends up failing to stay above structure and ends up, I would be looking for a clear break and retest of 994. I don't think that will happen. I really don't. But again, trade what you see, not what you think. So if this does come back down, look for some small pullbacks on dollar pairs like Euro USD, maybe AED USD, NZD USD, things like that. And then this would then give clear buys on dollar, which would be sells on those pairs that I mentioned. So something like that. Having a look at another pair, Euro AED. I actually really like this pair coming into this week. So what I'm looking for is this actually faked out into 0.45 to the pip, which was just crazy accurate. Like, look at that, to the pip. Faked out in 1.45, sorry. And then what I'm looking for is really just a retest of this 1.455 level for buy up into this sort of 1.48475 region here. So, for example, something like this looks really clean, maybe even 1.48. This whole sort of region here, I'd be looking for a buy up into here. So if this was to come down like the 1 hour, give some nice bullish rejection, pin bars, look in the lower time frames, the 15, the 30, the 1, the 2, watch price there. You can get a really nice buy off this level into the highs, be a really clean entry. I mean, that alone would give something sort of like, let's say you get a stop loss like this, maybe like a 35 to 40 pip stop loss, which on these pairs like EA, EN, I generally go with a wider stop loss. Like 30 to 40 pips, whereas like AU, NU, 15 to 20 pips, maybe 25 max. That'd be like a nice little 1 to 6 right there. So that looks really, really, really clean coming into this week. So make sure you're watching for that. 80 USD, let's have a look. So What I'd be looking for here, again, like I said on the dollar, having that slight pullback, right? That would then align with AED USD coming up and retesting this 0.74800 region, and then look for a sell. Very, very simple price action. Look for a sell down into this sort of 0.73600, 500 region down here. Something like this. Oops, sorry, 600. Like that. So that'd be that's textbook. Now, obviously, there's always two scenarios, right? You never want to be married to one direction. Let's say that the dollar was, or just Australian dollar was to gain strength maybe. You could look for something like this. But however, remember AED USD and Euro AED are correlated. So the fact that this is looking like a clear break and retest to go higher, and this looks like a clear break and retest to go lower, does give a lot of confluence for both those setups playing out. So make sure you watch both those. They are both Australian pairs. So you could see a clear break and retest here. Very, very clear price action, guys. March was overall a somewhat tricky month in the market. A lot of slow movement plus a lot of really fast impulsive moves on a lot of pairs, which really gave little to no entry on some pairs. And a lot of pairs just went sideways. Like you see, Australian dollar was just really sideways for, you know, a good portion of the month here. So this looks really, really clean for a move, for a retest of this level to go lower. So make sure you're watching that. This could most likely be a London setup tomorrow. So that's why I'm trying to get the weekly outlook now, as it's looking very, very clean. Another pair I want to cover, EuroCAD. I'm actually liking this for a possible buy. If this was to come down here again off this 1.36 sort of 600, 700 level, you could look for a nice maybe 30-minute or hourly rejection, and that could give you a really nice buy up into 1.38 region. Again, something like this. Go for like a 20 pip stop loss, for example, give you a nice little buffer, be a nice little 1 to 7. Now, let's assume that price was to break this level, what you could look for. While I do think this will play out, I mean, it needs a clear break and retest. It's 1.38, a lot of structure here. It looks very, very good in my opinion. Something like that. But what we could look for, obviously, as I said, always two directions. If this was to break lower, you simply look for the retest down into 1.36, which again, something like that would give a nice little, you know, 75 or sorry pips. It could even break lower down into 1.3, you know, 55. So that's what I'm looking for this week, guys. News-wise, there's really nothing out. There's you guys don't really pay attention to the news, but there is inflation rate on Tuesday, and then there's interest rate on Wednesday, both for the USD and CAD. So yeah, coming into this week for the mentorship program, we have trades running. We have 3 trades running. We have a trade running on Euro NZD for about 125 pips in profit, with much more upside expected moving into this week. And then we also have trades running in risk-free and in profit on Euro USD and USD CAD, both with more positions looking to be added. So really, really good profit for us moving into this week. If you guys would like to join the mentorship program, you can join it via the website Forex Project. I always put a link below, so make sure you join in there. Spots are limited. I will be closing it off once it hits a certain number, which we're not far from. In that case, you won't be able to join after that unless spots open. So keep that in mind. That's it for now, guys. Have a great week. Make sure you use risk management, and I'll have another video uploaded on Wednesday for a midweek update. Have a great week, guys.